What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Sitting with Sean Extraordinary, episode number 15, brought to you by the Antisocial Network. Today I have an awesome guest, but before I go into it, that intro song, there's a lot going on in that shit, isn't there, Scotty?
It's fun though, man. I was sitting here like, oh yeah, all right, there we go. It's fun. Like a little nice little jazzy number, man. I was like it.
Right, dude. Like, I always sit there and I think, man, that sounds like a late night talk show intro song.
It does. It really does.
Yeah, it sounds like I want to throw my pants off and go sit on the couch, get strange.
Hey, well, there you go.
But today we got a really special guest. Today we have veteran and up and coming music artist Scotty Hasting. How you doing, Scotty?
Good, man. How are you?
Dude, it's another day in paradise.
Absolutely.
It's another day to be alive. Another great day.
Absolutely.
And it's also good to see another person with a beard.
Right? Honestly, yeah. No, I got out of the military and I was like, not shaving ever again. Never again. I don't care what to say. Not shaving ever again.
I did it one time, and my ex-wife looked at me and she started crying. She's like, "Put that hair back on your face."
For sure. I don't even remember what I look like. Now when I see like pictures of me without a beard, I'm like, who the hell is that guy? Like, who is that guy?
Who are you?
Who are you? Looking weird over there with no facial hair.
You look like you're up to no good.
I know, right?
All right, Scotty, would you like to give a formal introduction of yourself?
Yeah, my name's Scotty Hasting. I'm a combat wounded Army infantryman, turned singer, songwriter, and recording artist here in Nashville. Been doing it for a while now, so yeah, loving it.
Yeah, I seen your episode with Jukebox, and I was like, man, I gotta talk to him.
Yeah, Jukebox is a good guy.
Yeah. He's the dude. He's the one that got me into podcasting, man.
Oh, really? Awesome,
yeah.
man. That's great.
Yeah, I did a show with him. One of his Clash of the Casters.
Yeah.
And after it was just like, man, I had so much fun. And he was like, you should get a show. You have the voice for it. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, do it now.
Absolutely, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. He was like, do it now. And I was like, touche.
All right, fine.
All right, cool. Yeah, he coached, mentored, and trained me like
That's awesome.
until I could walk on my own. And yeah, I've been doing this for almost a year now.
Wow, man. Congrats. That's crazy. That's
Thanks.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's enjoyable. I love Jukebox. Great guy.
Good people for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm in a NASCAR league with him, like a fantasy league.
Nice. Yeah, he asked me to be a part of that, and I was like, I don't know enough about NASCAR to get
I don't know anything about NASCAR, but I was like, dude, sure. Like, why not? I'll do it. I don't care.
Fuck it.
I don't know anything about NASCAR. Like, I don't even remember the last time I watched a race, but I'll do it.
The last time I watched a race, everybody hated Jeff Gordon.
Yeah. Jeff Gordon was the man, though.
He was. He could. After Earnhardt died, after Senior died, he was the man.
For sure.
And Tony Stewart.
Everyone did hate Jeff Gordon, though. I don't know why, man. Why did everyone hate Jeff Gordon so much?
I think because he enunciated his words.
Really, honestly, he didn't sound like this all the time.
No, he didn't sound like he was gonna go get a PBR.
So funny. I don't know. Everyone hated on him, man.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyways, man, how's the weather in Nashville?
Man, it's bipolar as hell, man. It's warm now, but in the next couple of days it'll probably be freezing again. But yeah, no, it's actually right now it's nice. It's like 70-something degrees right now, but nice. Yeah. And who knows, man? Tomorrow it could be raining and cold, and who the hell knows, man? Around this time in Nashville, like in Tennessee, like you never know what the weather's actually going to be like. Like I feel like the weather people like on the news, the meteorologists are just like, we're just gonna throw it up somewhere and like maybe it'll be warm,
Could be warm.
Who knows, really?
Yeah. It's that weird weather.
Yeah. It really is. It takes a toll on your voice if you're a singer and stuff. So yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Going from like being hot to being cold to being dry to being humid. I mean, it's all of that messes with your vocal cords.
Oh yeah. Okay, that does make sense now. Makes a lot of sense. Yeah, man. I'm in West Virginia, and like last week it was like 75 and sunny, and I was like, "Holy shit! I'm so happy I moved back here." And then it started raining, and they're calling for snow later on this week.
It's crazy, man.
Make up your mind, Mother Nature.
Honestly,
Shit,
figure it out.
figure it out. I want an early goddamn summer.
For real. Figure it out, but make sure you figure it out when it's warm. That'd be great.
Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly, exactly.
Absolutely.
So, what is it about Nashville that had you like, I want to move there?
It's funny. I actually so when I was getting out of the military from Fort Riley, in Kansas, a lot of my guys were coming to Fort Campbell, which is right down the road from Nashville. And I was like, man, I'm getting out of the military, like I'm getting medically retired, like I'm just gonna go too. Like I'm gonna hang out, follow you all out there. And then got here, and honestly, I fell in love with the people. I fell in love with the city of Nashville, the history that's out here. It's just that there's no place like it. I mean, everyone's super nice. Like the songwriter community and the communities that you can be within here in Nashville are all super amazing. All the people are great, and I was like, man, this is where I need to be. Fell in love with it, and then I knew that this is where I was going to settle down. So I stayed.
Yeah,
Then music came to be a thing, and now it's like, thank God I was already here because I would have been moving here. So it works out.
No doubt, dude. When I was there, I absolutely fell in love with it. I say this, but I don't say it lightly. Nashville's my favorite city in the whole country.
But agreed.
Like no joke, because there's
Yeah.
so much culture around there. It's just amazing. I went to that conference I was telling you about. I got to see War and Treaty perform. That was amazing, and I got to see Leslie Nelson before he died.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That was crazy. And then just I'm a person where like if I go, I'm gonna go for the food as
Yeah.
well as dude. And there's so much good food around there.
Oh yeah, we got great food, especially if you like shit fried. We got you covered. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, there's just something about the people out here, man. The people that are actually like from Nashville. There's just something about that little bit of Southern charm. And Nashville is still. I mean, it's a huge city, but when you're within like different communities, like the songwriter community and like within the music industry and the music community in general, Nashville feels very, very small. Like everyone knows everybody. So you get that feeling of it being a small town when in all actuality, it's ginormous. I mean, Nashville is huge. It's one of the biggest tourist destinations in the country. So, I mean, it's crazy big, but very small feeling.
Yeah, definitely. I only got to see like Opryland, and then over where the Titans played at. I didn't get to see the full extent of it. And
Oh yeah.
the next time I come, I'm gonna be like, oh, let's put the shoes on. We're gonna go explore.
Absolutely. There's so much in Nashville and around Nashville, so much history within that area that you could take a good weekend and miss a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that there's a 173rd reunion coming up there
Mm-hmm.
at the end of May.
Oh
I
hell yeah!
might try to jump on that. It's pretty fun. Pretty
If you
fun
come down,
stuff.
you gotta come down to the show though.
Yes,
Deal.
yes, definitely.
Because
Will
I
do.
play on Broadway, so you gotta
Oh,
come.
do you?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Fuck. Nice. Yes, I will. I will definitely come to a show.
Hell yeah! Perfect.
So let's get into it, man. Where'd you grow up at?
I grew up in northern Kentucky, right on the other side of Cincinnati.
Nice.
And yeah, between like the Cincinnati area into Kentucky is where I grew up. My mom lived in Ohio on one side of the Ohio River. My dad lived on the other side in Kentucky on the Ohio River. And yeah, between my mom and my dad, we were in and out of the Cincinnati area a lot.
Nice,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, I've been through that area. My dad was a truck driver, so I've been
Oh yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah, my dad drove trucks for FedEx for a while, so yeah, that's awesome.
Nice. Yeah, my dad's been like every company you could think of, like Smith, like any you throw a ball at a truck and he's probably driven for that company. It's ridiculous.
Maybe.
Yeah, he's yeah
That's
something
crazy.
else.
That's awesome.
But anyways, man, what made you want to join the army?
It was just something I felt like I needed to do. I had wanted to join for a long time, and I kept pushing it off and pushing it off. And I started playing baseball and started making money playing baseball. And then I one day realized that I wasn't making any money playing baseball, and I had a family to afford, and I needed to do something else. And and the person that I was with at the time was like, well, then do it. Like, if this is something you want to do, then do it. And I was like, well, all right. So I decided at 21 years old that I would join the military. And when I got into basic training, I was the old man, which is crazy to think. When you're 21 years old, you're the old man in basic training. But yeah, I was the responsible one. I was in basic training because I mean, you're surrounded by 18, 19-year-olds. We had one kid that was 17. I mean, it was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, and in basic training is where you meet all the idiots.
Yeah.
Like,
what made you choose infantry?
So in my eyes, no offense to anybody who was not infantry, in my eyes, a soldier is someone who's fighting, right? In my eyes, when I think about a soldier, when I think about being a soldier and doing soldier things, it was going and fighting, and that was literally it. So when I went there, because they gave me so many options of other things that I could do, like MP, different things that I could do throughout the military, and I was like, no, like, I want to do infantry, like, that's all I want to do. And yeah, so I in my eyes, what I wanted to do was I wanted to fight. So the best way that I could do that was to join the infantry. And then I'm an idiot, because when I got to basic training, I found out that there was a freaking signing bonus for infantry, but I was so like gung-ho about going infantry that I didn't even think about a damn signing bonus. But then I get there and I'm hearing all these like 18-year-old kids like, yeah, I got this $25,000 signing bonus. And I'm like, oh, what? Hold on. Well, that was never an option. The problem is I came in too ready and gung-ho about being an infantryman that I should have been like, I don't know, and then have the recruiter be like, well, we can get your signing bonus. And be like, oh my God, yeah, that's what I'd love to do. That's crazy.
It's gonna change my life.
Absolutely. Wow, I was going to do this, but since you're going to offer signing bonus,
Right.
yeah.
That's what happened to me. So I signed on as a fister, and they were like, and I get to basic, and a bunch of dudes, well, AIT, and a bunch of dudes are like, oh, we got $40,000 sign on bonus. I was like, what?
Crazy.
You got a sign on bonus? What the fuck? I was so upset.
Yeah, man. When these like 18-year-old kids, I'm 21. These 18-year-old kids are like, yeah, what did you get for your signing bonus? And I was like, what are you talking about? God, these 18-year-old kids are smarter than me. And then, seeing them in basic training, you're like, these kids are idiots, man. Like, how did they make it this far in life? And yet they're the ones that are making more money than me because they got a damn sign-on bonus.
Right? Were you in the era where it was? I guess it's still OSUT. Were you in OSUT?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I was like one of the first, probably one of the first couple classes that started that, especially for the infantry side.
Yeah. So what did OSUT look like for you guys? Was it just like pretty much like you guys went to a different phase at the end of like?
Yeah, it was literally staying in the same place, doing the same shit. You just went into different phases. So there were like 4 different phases. I think it was like red, blue. I think it was like red, blue, and white. I think if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, yeah, like you just went through different phases. You went through like the phase of like, we're gonna break you down, and that's all we're gonna do is break you down. And then there's like the phase of, okay, we're gonna start building you up a little bit. And then there's the phase of, okay, now you've gotten to where you're a soldier, so we're gonna teach you how to be an infantryman. So yeah, it was like a whole. Dude, basic training was the easiest thing ever. I mean, it was hard physically, but to pass through basic training and to get through basic training is super easy, man. You just listen. You just do what you're told. Like literally, that's it, and you'll get through it.
Right.
A lot of people are like, "Man, that's tough," and I was like, "Man, I would go back." Like it was easy, dude. Like, you know how easy that was. Everything else just disappeared. You just had to listen to like you had to listen to people telling you what to do and then do it, and that's literally how you got through. Like shit, that's easy. All right,
yeah, it's easy as hell.
Mm-hmm.
I would say airborne school was more challenging than basic was.
I would agree. I didn't go through airborne school, but I've heard about it, so I would definitely say definitely more challenging.
Oh yeah. So you get to you get assigned to Fort Riley.
Yep.
Okay. How often or when was your first deployment?
So get to Fort Riley, and as soon as we check in, they're like, "Hey, we're getting ready to deploy, right?" And I was like, "What?" And they're like, "Yeah, I was like, "Man, I have a family. Like, I need to get my family here. Like, I got to get them set up." And they're like, "Oh yeah, I don't think it's gonna be time for that." And it was like literally like 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks, and we were in Afghanistan. It was like,
Jesus.
damn. Okay, sweet. Um, but yeah, I mean, went for basic training, got to Fort Riley for a little bit, got time to really meet everybody and talk to them and really get to know them and form bonds. And then next thing you know, we're headed out. Got a little bit of training and stuff like that, but then yeah, we're heading out.
Mm.
Um,
Where in Afghanistan did you guys go?
Kandahar province. So we
Okay.
went into Kandahar airfield, stayed there for like a week, I think. And then we went out to Choi. Well, Sabulge is what it was then, but it's the Zari district of
I've been
Kandahar.
there.
Yeah, and so we went out to the cop out there and just did what we did. No running water. It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What year was that?
11 and 12.
Mm. I'm pretty sure we relieved you guys in 12.
Really?
Yeah.
Probably. I wasn't there. I was back in the States after getting shot. So unfortunately,
Yeah,
yeah.
let's get into that, man. What happened?
So April 21st, 2011. We were on patrol going to suspected bomb makers little hut, and we were just on patrol, headed that direction, and came up on this little creek bed, and we were trying to figure out which way we wanted to go. And while we were trying to figure it out, while the LT was looking at the map and trying to figure out which direction we needed to head in, because we, in Afghanistan, like you don't want to move in the same direction for very long. You don't want to become predictable. Once you're predictable, then the enemy can set up ambushes and people can get killed. So we try to be as predictable as possible. So we knew that we were walking in the same direction for a while, so we knew we needed to go left, right, maybe go back a little bit and come back around. We had to throw them off a little bit. So we decided to go a little bit more left. But while we were sitting there was like this old guy that was walking around in this hut, and he was kind of just trying to figure out what we're doing. Just like every person in Afghanistan, they're always trying to see what the hell we're doing, what we're going to do next, stuff like that. Because everyone looks at you like you don't belong. I mean, literally, that's the look you get every single time you talk to somebody, or you see somebody over there. And so the older guy kept walking around. Like he would come around his hut to the back of it and kind of see us and stand there for a second, and then walk back around his little hut and then come back around like 10 minutes later and see us and then walk back around. Like you could tell that he was trying to figure out what we were doing, like more so than anybody else. Like, because normally people look at you and then they're like, what are you doing here? You don't belong here. And then they go on with their life. They don't continue to come out and see what we're doing. So I made, everyone became aware of that guy pretty quickly. And then we started heading, like the way that we started heading was literally right by his hut. So whenever we were walking by his hut, we had to jump over this wall and go, because in Afghanistan, again, you're trying to be unpredictable. So you're jumping over walls, you're climbing over, like literally climbing over 8-foot walls and stuff. Like it's crazy. So we decided to jump over this wall and go into this little, it's a road for them, but for us, it's a sidewalk. And so it goes literally right in front of his hut. So as soon as we get just in front of his hut, I turn back to my guys and I'm like, hey, that old guy disappeared. Like something's about to kick off. Like be ready. I was in front of everybody. I had the Valen, the metal detector that we carried over there. So I had the Valen. I realized that old dude has disappeared. And usually when people disappear, that's a bad thing. Shit's about to kick off. So he disappeared. I turned around and I said, "Hey, keep your eyes open. This dude has gone. The old dude's gone." And as soon as I turn around, I see a guy to my right. I see him move real quick and out of the corner of my eye. And I kind of look at him and he looks at me. And then I go back to doing what I was doing. And I see him move really quick, like a real sudden movement. And I'm like, what the heck? So I go to square up on him. By the time I squared up on him, he had already pulled a weapon from behind his back and started spraying. He hit me 4 times, or once in the thigh, 4 times in the hip, and 5 times in the shoulder. It kind of just went up my body this way. So,
God damn.
yeah, from left to right.
What was that instant feeling?
It's kind of like what you would think putting a hot poker, like a fire poker, putting that in the fire and letting it get red and then slowly pushing it through your skin. That's kind of what I could equate what that would feel like for someone to think about it. Luckily, eventually my my adrenaline kicked in, so I didn't feel a whole lot of pain after that. So I felt the rounds go through. I felt that. The craziest part is the smell of your own flesh burning. That's the weirdest part. But eventually my, adrenaline kicked in and I stopped really feeling the pain. And then it was more like trying to figure out what the heck was wrong. Like, why am I here? So when I fell, the guy, I guess his weapon jammed because he was sitting there trying to mess with his weapon. So I noticed that he was messing with his weapon and his weapon and jam. So I grabbed my weapon real quick and basically pointed at him, and he took notice that I was pointing my weapon at him, and he took off running. So I tried to fire, and when I tried to fire, I couldn't fire because there was a round that had gone through the weapon, through the upper receiver on an M4, and it actually like welded another round into the chamber. So when I tried to fire, there was no firing mechanism because it was shot out. So there was no way to do it. But yeah, I guess just me pointing my weapon at him, he thought that I was going to shoot him back, so he took off. And then it was just after that, it was trying to figure out, am I going to be able to get to the medic, or is the medic coming to me? I didn't realize how bad it was. I knew that I was hurt. I knew that I was definitely shot. I just needed to figure out, how to get to my medic. There was only one way that I could do it. I tried to, and I was not moving, man. I tried to, and nothing worked. My hand. So when I got shot, because it was in the brachial plexus where like all your nerves meet, my initial feeling was like, when you hit your elbow on something and it like really like tingles really badly. It was that, but on steroids. It was that feeling, but amplified. I mean, it was like really bad, and it was all in my hand, all down my arm, everywhere. And then so I went to go to kind of like try to scoot myself up to the medic because they were getting shot at the same time I was getting shot at, because me getting shot was like this whole start of a ambush, and it was like it was a whole, I mean, it was a whole fucking scene there for a little bit. So I'm trying to like crawl over to him, but I can't get to him because of it. So he just takes off running, man. Just takes off running to me, which is crazy because like, so where we were, they were pinned down because they were getting shot at, and then they were scared to come to where I was at because I just got shot. So they were freaking out, thinking that there was another team over here shooting at me. But then, yeah, once I, let them know that, hey, he's gone. He took off running. He took off running in this direction. My buddy Fant threw a grenade into his chest with his, his 203. It was great. He got a lot worse than I did.
Pink mist.
Absolutely, 100%. So yeah, once they realized that I couldn't move, the medic decided screw it and just took off running, and grabbed me up, and that's when he started like performing everything on me, and that's when That's when I realized how bad it actually was. Because he was like, you could just see it in his face, like we had been in some combat before. We had seen some stuff. We'd had people get hurt, but never like that. And you could see it on his face that there was not a very good chance for me.
Yeah.
So he started working on me, blah blah blah. All my guys started running up to me and trying to help out after the ambush was over. The ambush didn't last very long, but it felt like forever. But yeah, they all ran up. They were pulling security, and they were all working on me, stuff like that. And then at some point, I had lost so much blood that my eyesight actually shut down. I only saw white.
Wow.
And a lot of talking before, talking to other people and stuff like that. This is my idea of like what people say when they see the light. This is what I think. Like this is what I would think that would be. You lose so much blood that your eyesight shuts down, and it's just like white film almost. Which is where I was at. And but I was still very much alert. I was able to talk. I was able to hear everything. I just couldn't see. But my way of kind of doing it, in basic training and in all your training that you go through, they talk about how shock is like the number one killer for combat injuries. If you have a combat injury and you go into shock, more than likely you're going to die. So my thought was to try to not go into shock. And it was really just a lot of like talking and cutting up and trying to tell jokes and really just, trying to keep it lively, even though I know that this is a fucking crazy time right now. Just trying to, keep it live, keep them entertained and me entertained, and really not trying to think about what the hell's going on. Because the more I started thinking about it, the more I knew that I was at risk of going into shock. And if that happened, I was dead. There was no doubt about it.
And more so keeping you alive. That's
100%.
Yeah.
And that's really what it was all about, was just really just doing everything that I could to not freak out.
Yeah.
But yeah, then like 40 minutes later, the bird finally shows up, and I get in the helicopter and we go to Kandahar airfield. Yeah. When I get in Kandahar airfield, like I'm still alert for all this. I'm still, wide awake for it all. When we get to Kandahar airfield, we land and I get brought directly into like their trauma bays and all that. And immediately they start putting me on blood. They start shifting blood into my system, back into my system. And when that happens, my eyesight starts coming back. And I was like, man, I can start, like, I can see now. And they're like, good. And then as soon as I said that, I heard a nurse whisper in my ear, and she said, it's okay for you to go to sleep now. And literally I was gone. Like I passed out. I remember that clear as day, man. That nurse saying, it's okay for you can go to sleep now. We got you. And I was like, boom, out. And then, woke up probably like a day later. And crazy. Crazy. And then on the way, then they asked that, because we go to Landstuhl, anyone who was injured in combat in Afghanistan goes through Landstuhl. And they, on the way to Landstuhl, they had to stop in Bagram because they lost pulse in my arm because one of the arteries was actually nicked and they had missed it. So they had to do another emergency surgery where they actually took a vein out of my right leg and replaced my main artery with it. Which is incredible that modern medicine, you can do that, because my understanding growing up in freaking anatomy class was that a vein and an artery are completely different things. But as it turns out, a vein will grow to be the size of what a normal artery will. So that's crazy. Yeah. And then, made it to Landstuhl, and then leaving Landstuhl, I went to Walter Reed. Yeah.
Damn. How's recovery at Walter Reed for you?
Oh man, Walter Reed was awesome. The people there were great. The staff and all the occupational therapists, physical therapists are amazing people. It was really cool because it was like where all the celebrities wanted to come to and visit all the hurt people. So we got to meet a UFC fighter. I got got to meet Montel Williams, which I never thought in a million years would ever be something I would ever be able to do, but I did it.
Wow.
Yeah, I tried to meet Lieutenant Dan, but unfortunately, Gary Sinise came in and we tried to put off a surgery that I had that day because I wanted to meet him, and then it just became too late. And they're like, "Hey, we have to get you back to surgery, man. Like, we don't have a choice." I was like, "Damn it, man! I missed my opportunity. I know. I want to meet Lieutenant Dan. I missed my
God damn it
to meet Gary Sinise." It's actually funny because they're here in Nashville now, so I've reached out to them, and been like, "Hey, I missed my opportunity to meet Gary. Like, I would love to actually meet him in person, but I haven't heard back. But we'll see."
Man,
yeah. So if anyone knows Gary Sinise, man, hook it up.
I think I got a guy that knows him.
I just it's something that I've wanted to do since Walter Reed, and I've never had the opportunity.
So, did you hear the story about the quad amputee from Afghanistan, Travis Mills?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I've met Travis a couple times.
Phenomenal human being.
Absolutely.
Phenomenal human being. He was in one of my sister units when he got injured. But apparently he knows Gary, and Gary built him his house in Maine.
Really? Yeah. I know a good friend of mine named Trainwreck. He had a house built by the Gary Sinise Foundation. So yeah.
Nice. That would be an honor.
Yeah. I just want to meet the dude, man.
Yeah. Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but going back to see a Choi, dude, that whole area is shit.
Yeah, it was nuts, man. I mean, we were literally taking fire every single day, go out on patrols every other day. I mean, it was we were getting shot at every day, literally.
Yeah.
We were, it was a hard fight. We fought a lot.
Yeah, we did a route clearing mission out there when we took over, and I lost my best friend to an IED out there.
Yeah,
and it was just shit. And like we did a lot of recon and stuff like that, but we were also like route clearance for other units coming through. Yeah. And dude, like I've never been on stretches of road where you couldn't travel 100 meters without finding 10 IEDs.
Oh yeah,
it's absolutely insane.
Yeah, it's not. You know what's crazy is we used to drive that road from there to Fob Wilson every day for dinner to get to get hot dinner. We would wait till the route clearance vehicles came through, and then we would basically follow them right after. And that was how we knew it was dinner time, because the route clearance vehicles would come through and do like the route clearance, and then we would take off right behind them.
And like you were talking about, like climbing over walls and stuff, dude. I've never climbed higher grape rows than over there.
Dude, it's crazy. I can't tell you how many pairs of pants I've went through trying to climb over grape rows, and they just like the whole middle just comes apart. Like, it's crazy,
dude.
But I mean, the crazy part is it's beautiful country out there, man. Like when the poppy fields are blooming and stuff, it's absolutely gorgeous. You got the mountains, it's beautiful, but it's sketch, man. I mean,
yeah,
everything wants to kill you over there.
I've been through most of Afghanistan. I've been, in the north, I've been in the east, and then out there in the west and southwest. I would never, if I had the option and they were like, hey, you have to go back to Afghanistan, where would you not want to go? And it would be down in the desert.
Yeah, I would never want to go back to, I would never, I think if they asked me where to go, I would never go back south. No. Ever. I'd be like, no, I would rather go north or even east, dude. Send me east.
Yeah.
Do not put me back in the south. It's sketch out there, man.
Yeah. Everybody asks what deployment was my worst, and I always try to say, oh, none is any better than the other one. But that third one that I was on, which was down there, fucking never again. Worst.
Yeah, it was a lot. We fought hard out there, man.
Yeah, it's a different fight too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%.
And it's everything that they tell you that it is. You just don't really listen to it, right? They say, oh, it's an IED followed by a follow-on, and it's like you don't listen to that when you're in in your debriefs and that, or when you're in your in processing briefs in the country, and then boom, you're hit with it.
Yeah, either that or it's like random fighters in grape rows hiding in grape rows, and then you get close to them and they put the AK over the top and just start spraying.
Yep.
And
fuck that. Nope, never
Sketch.
again. Yeah. So what got you into playing music?
Music was actually, it came later. Originally, so I got back to Fort Riley because my guys were coming back, and it literally took an act of Congress for this to happen. My congressman that was out of Kentucky that I had met, he was a former Ranger. I was like, listen, man, like I have to be there. When they get back, I have to be there. I have to show them that I'm okay, that I'm here, that I'm still standing, that I'm making it, that I'm doing stuff. And he was like, I understand completely. He said, I get it. He said, we're going to make it happen. So it took him writing a letter for them to release me from Walter Reed so that I could go back to Fort Riley so that I could be there when my guys got back. So when I got back to Fort Riley, I was there for a good couple years later because I fought the med board process, man. I wanted to continue. I wanted to heal up, and I wanted to go back into the infantry and continue and make a career out of it. That's what my idea was from the beginning. That's what I wanted to do now. And it was, and then eventually they were like, listen, like we can't do this. But in between all of that, I had found adaptive sports. I grew up playing sports. I'm super, super competitive. Again, I was playing baseball before I joined the military. So adaptive sports and sports in general is, where my heart is. It's what I do. So adaptive sports, they're like, here, you can try these if you want. And I was like, all right, I'll try all of them. Literally, they had a list of adaptive sports, and I tried every single one of them. I mean, that was from like sitting volleyball, which was amazing, to like wheelchair basketball, which I realized doesn't really work with my hand the way it is, because my hand got my fingers would get stuck in the spokes of the wheelchair, and I realized really quickly that I still like my fingers, and I don't want to lose them anytime soon.
Yeah.
To like even like there was like, God, what was it, like meditation class, and which ended up being like a take a nap in the middle of the day class, to where like I would go in and people would just be snoring, and I was like, I can't do this. Like I'm not gonna do this because I'm still in that soldier mindset of like I'm gonna push through, I'm gonna continue on, like I'm gonna stay in the military, like I'm working out every day, like I'm still trying to stay fit, and these freaking dudes are in there taking naps during meditation class. And I'm like, I have to find something that I can do that will like help me move forward. And eventually I found archery. Archery was something I had never tried before. In my eyes, archery was for hunting. So I was like, sure, I'll go hunt. Like I'll do that. I'll learn how to shoot archery. I'm naturally right-handed, but with my hand the way it is and the nerve damage, I can't feel this hand. So I wanted to shoot right-handed, and I was like, yeah, man, I can shoot right-handed. I can do all this, blah, blah, blah. Well, 3 arrows like into the ceiling later, I realized that shooting right-handed is not going to happen. So the archery coach was basically like, listen, you have to stop. You can't do this. You're a safety risk, blah, blah, blah. And I went back home later that like afterwards, and I was like, man, I'm going to figure this out. I'm way too hard-headed to just be told that I can't do it. I'm going to figure it out, or I'm going to completely fail. So I was like, well, what about left-handed? Like, what if I tried to shoot left-handed? You think I could do that? And he was like, well, we can give it a shot because this hand just kind of sits there, so I can hold on bow and do that. Tried it once, fell in love with it, and did it all the time. It became like an outlet for me, a little escape for me. And I got good enough to the point of where I got recruited for the U.S. Paralympic program, and shot with the U.S. Paralympic program. Still am technically part of the U.S. Paralympic program. But when COVID hit and archery stopped, I needed something to do. For the problem with the biggest issue for us as not only as veterans, but as combat vets who have seen and done things that we don't like to talk about and that still haunt us is when it's quiet, that's when all the crazy thoughts and all the bad stuff comes out. Yeah. Right. So we need to find something that takes over everything. For me, it was archery, and then, archery stopped because of COVID. So I needed something else. And in the corner of my room, I always had a guitar sitting there, and I was like, I bet you I can learn how to play this. Like I've never let anything, stop me from being able to do something, even with my injury the way it is. I've never let anything stop me. So why not? Why not learn this? Jumped on YouTube, man. I deep dove into learning how to play the guitar. I learned G, C, E minor, and D, and I learned how to use a capo. And I was like, I can play anything. Um,
I'm a musical god.
yes, I am a guitar god. Uh, and so yeah, learned that. And then other things started taking over as well. So with playing the guitar, I also wanted to write songs. I wanted to learn how to do that. Like I wanted to figure out. Like I've always fallen in love with all these songs, and I thought, I have a pretty good story. Maybe I could write something and put my story out there. So I started writing. I started writing songs with what I knew, the G, C, A minor, and D, and I started throwing different melodies together. And it's funny, I wrote a lot of songs based. So when I write a song off of a melody. So I'll write something, I'm like, man, that sounds really pretty, or that sounds really good. Like I bet you I could write to that, and then I write to it. There's a lot of people that write differently, but that's kind of how I do it. But I started writing songs, and then I wanted to do more. I was like, man, I've started learning these songs that I grew up listening to. I've written a couple songs. I did, and I was like, I want to do more. Like I want to get in front of people and see what they think. Like, it's at this point, like it's become an obsession, like music has become an obsession at this point where I need to get out there and I need to see what people think about my songs or what people think about my adaptation to a cover. And so I went to a open mic out in Cookeville, Tennessee, which is on the outskirts of Nashville. It's about an hour and a half from Nashville. And at the time, COVID was still, pretty legit. So I had to go outside of Nashville because Nashville was a ghost town. The only way that you were able to work or do anything musically is if you went on the outskirts of Nashville. So I went to Cookeville, Tennessee, and I went to an open mic and played one song, and that feeling of of escape and that feeling of where all of the depression and the PTSD and all that stuff disappeared. Like I got that, but on steroids. So I was like, listen, archery was cool and it got me to where I am, but music is what I need to do. Like this is the feeling I've been searching for forever. For me, music isn't just music. It's not just something that I do or something that, I want to do to help people, which is definitely something I want to do. But it's a lot of it is for me, for my mental health, in the sense that it's an escape for me that I can't find anywhere else, for those 3 hours or 4 hours that I'm playing on stage, because that was the next step was, man, I love this. I've been on stage once. I want to be on stage all the time. And, I started bugging the hell out of people down in Nashville and everywhere else, trying to figure out how to get on stage and play. And then, eventually, as just me being who I am, I'm never going to take no for an answer. So I'm going to keep bugging you until you say yes. So that's what I did. And, eventually people let me on stage in downtown Nashville. And, when I'm down there for 3 hours, 4 hours, I mean, literally nothing else matters except for being in that moment. And as a combat veteran and as someone who is a veteran in general, like that's what we search for, being able to have that moment where all that shit disappears. Like you can't buy that. Like that's incredible. Doesn't matter how, and that's why a lot of veterans jump into drugs or alcohol, is because when they're high, all of that disappears. So being able to find that is just incredible. And that's, that for me is my high, being on stage, being able to interact with people that are there and, really just having a good time is really, it's really, really like, it's just incredible. And then, it just kind of built after that, man. It became, like I said, at this point, it's an obsession. I've gotten to where I want to play and I want to do this. And, I know that I have a good story that, for me, you know, to be out there playing music with a bum hand like I have, and, you know, with the story that I have, I feel like I'm able to reach an audience that not a lot of people can.
Yeah.
You know, I played I played a writer. It was a TV show. Well, technically, it didn't go to TV. It went to like some app, but it's called Nashville's Next Best of Three, and it was a songwriter TV show. Um,
Mhm.
and at the finale of it, he was like, "Man, you don't have to play. We have a band here. You don't have to play." And I was like, "No, I do have to play. Like, you don't understand. I don't play guitar because I'm an amazing ass guitarist. I play guitar because I have a disability in my hand." And for everyone out there, if you asked if someone with nerve damage in their hand that had limited movement in their hand, if you asked them if someone like that could play guitar, they would immediately say no. So anyone out there who has a similar disability or a disability in general that could possibly see me on stage, that's why I'm out here playing the guitar. Not for because of my amazing guitar skills, because I don't have amazing guitar skills. Um, no, it's for the people that could be watching, that could be like, dude, if that guy's up there doing what he's doing, like, what is stopping me from doing this or that or whatever, you know, whatever I want to do. And really, at the end of the day, that's what I do it for, you know, that and being able to experience that little bit of escape.
Yeah, you hit on something really, really profound, and that it sticks with me too. Is like you said, that's why veterans run to drugs or alcohol
Mhm.
instead of finding something productive, and it's to take your mind away from things, dude. I mean, I've kind of always lived with addiction, but when I got out, it was like far worse.
I
I
mean,
got out.
there's so. I mean, that's every like that's so many veteran stories, man. They
Yeah,
get out and it becomes like it's they get high once and they realize, dude, not all that shit is gone, or
yeah,
or they get super drunk once and all that disappears, and then it's like, dude, I found it, and it's because stuff like that, like drugs and alcohol, like it's easier to get than the idea of finding something like music or finding something where because at drugs or alcohol that's easy to get, right?
yeah,
But finding a dream or finding something that you can do that can do it, that's a lot harder. There's a lot of work that goes into that. And
mhm,
at that point, if you're hurt or you're really depressed or you're down, you don't want to work for it, right? It's a
yeah.
lot easier just to spend some money and get rid of it.
Yeah, absolutely. You're 100% correct. You know, it took me going to jail and sitting in fucking jail and looking at myself in the mirror and saying, "Dude, what did you do with your life?
Yeah,
Like you used to be a goddamn paratrooper, right?
yeah,
You used to be somebody that people looked up to, and now you're looking up to people because you're a piece of
mhm,
shit."
yeah,
And my like you said, my high now is helping people, dude. Like I absolutely love it. I get that thrill when I see somebody when that light flicks on and they're like,
absolutely,
I get it. I understand. So absolutely, I understand completely, wholeheartedly what you mean.
for sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's an amazing feeling, man. I mean,
yeah,
it's there's nothing like it, and it's so hard to describe, man. There's so many people that have asked me like to describe that feeling, and it's just you can't, like, it's
yeah,
impossible. And it's awesome now because like I'm at the point in my career where like things are really starting to take off for me, um, and I'm playing in these venues and I'm doing things that I never thought in a million years I'd be able to do. Like I played music at Bluebird. I just opened for Dave Grohl like last weekend. I'm cutting a song with Lee Brice. Like there's things that I'm doing that are just things that I never thought in a million years I'd be able to do. And with that comes like nerves. Like, it's really bad when you're so disconnected that you no longer feel, right?
yeah,
And there, for the longest time, I was at that point. I didn't feel anything. I felt, you know, I was so depressed and I was so down that the feel literally feeling anything was not there. It was gone. Um, so now, like, to go to these places and be super freaking nervous where like I'm shaking or like my heart's like beating, or when I go to start singing, like my voice is super shaky because I'm so nervous. I'm like, dude, this is amazing. Like I haven't felt this feeling in so long. Like it's really, really cool. It
Well,
really is.
on top of that, you're opening for one of the best musicians of all time.
I mean, I never thought in a million years as a country guy I'd ever be able to open for Dave Grohl, like the lead singer for Foo Fighters, one of the most iconic freaking rock guys ever. I never thought in a million years I'd be able to do that, but yeah, I mean, just being at that event and playing that event, dude, I was so nervous. Like I could feel it, like my heart was beating, like I was shaky, like my voice was shaky when I started singing. Like that's just the things I hadn't felt in a long time, man. And I was like, man, this is awesome.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
So, who were some of your inspirations for music?
My biggest inspiration, probably Garth Brooks, man. Honestly, I still remember, hanging out in my dad's car and putting the putting the Garth Brooks cassette on play, and then
Mhm.
taking it out, flipping it over, putting it in, and pushing to play again, and then continuing to do that over and over again. Because I mean, his music is truly what made me fall in love with country music.
Yeah,
Um, and Garth Brooks is amazing in the sense that he shows you he showed us what country music could be, in the sense that you knew that it was going to transform into something else. Like you had, especially at that time in the 90s, like you had a lot of country that sounded the same, but it was amazing. In my eyes, I think the 90s was probably the best generation of country music.
yeah,
You
absolutely.
had some incredible freaking country singers. And I really think, Garth Brooks was the king of the 90s, I mean, to the point of where he was going overseas and playing. Like really, he showed everyone that Garth Brooks could be a world thing, not just a US thing, but it could be around the world. It could be loved around the world. He showed that it could be, a little bit more edgy, because some of the songs that he sings are a little bit more edgy, as well as, like, you could have those funny songs. You could have songs that are just hilarious, that like there's just so many things in his music that showed you really like what country could be. And I think that idea is really something that I stuck with, and really just grabbed me and pulled me in, was the idea that country music could be so much more than it is.
Hmm.
That it's just kind of one of those genres that can blend so well with so many different things. You have like the country rock, you have the country rap. I mean, there's so many subgenres within one genre. And now you have the Americana, which is kind of just like all of them put together into, yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, that's really my biggest influence, as well as just like being in church and hearing my mom sing like the songs and stuff, and singing the songs at church, and really just really falling in love with music altogether. Really, I love so much music. I mean, dude, I grew up listening to Backstreet Boys and NSYNC, my man. It doesn't matter to me.
Yep.
Like people give me shit for that. I don't care. Good music is good music, man. If
Yeah.
it makes you move, that's what matters, man. If it makes you feel something, that's what matters. Like right now, I'm huge right now on the Kelsey Ballerini just dropped an EP that
Hmm.
is a work of art, like
Yeah.
absolutely a work of art. And I mean, she is more pop country, but at the end of the day, like a good story and a good song, it doesn't matter what it is. If it touches you, if you feel it, that's what matters. And that's the type of music that I like, man. I like stuff that makes me feel something.
Yeah. Absolutely. People ask me all the time, what kind of music are you into? I'm into music.
Same.
Fucking, there's no one genre that I can
Yep,
say I appreciate more than the other one. Um,
absolutely.
you were talking about some of the pioneers of country, man. Garth Brooks is one of them. Brooks and Dunn, Alan Jackson,
Yep,
dude, just
absolutely.
amazing artist,
100%. I mean,
amazing
people
artist.
that transformed, and I think that's the best part about the 90s country era, is because in the 90s, like country was really like in a transformative movement, in the sense that it was it was bridging between so many different things. You had your stereotypical country sound with like George Strait, who for his whole career has had kind of basically the same kind of sound. He's had that
Yeah,
that very traditional style country music, and then you have someone like Garth Brooks, who is taking country music and just throwing it in all different aspects of stuff. And then there was a lot of like that traditional style country stuff, and then there was you were really starting to get really a lot of the pop stuff with a lot of Faith Hill stuff, and I mean there was a lot of, it was a very transformative year for country, and I think that was why for me it was the best time for country music, because it was showing that country music could be so much more than the stereotypical country music.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So, who are you listening to right now in country?
Oh, dude, I listen to everybody, man. God, right now, Kelsey Ballerini, man, that new EP is freaking amazing. I listen to it probably once a day. I love her. I love her music, period. Kelsey Ballerini is incredibly talented. Her songwriting is amazing. I mean, it doesn't hurt that I'm kind of talking with the same label that she's a part of, but no, she can sing with the best of them. Her songwriting is incredible. This EP, like, she just got divorced, and this EP is like the epitome of every feeling she's ever felt when getting divorced. I mean, it's unbelievable. Like I said, it's a masterpiece, man. It's a piece of art. It's incredible. Of course, Luke Combs. Love Luke Combs. I love what the songs that he does. That for me, I like songs that tell a story. Yeah. When I write a song, I want to tell a story. When I listen to a song, I want to hear a story. Mm-hmm. For me, country music it's a story. It's always been a story. It always has been. It always will be. Again, growing up in the 90s, a lot of the country artists told stories with their songs. That's what I like to do. That's what I like to listen to. I want to be able to, when I'm listening to the song, close my eyes and see this story unfold in front of me. Luke Combs does a lot of that. He writes a lot of stuff that you can see. You can really close your eyes and you can see it. And I absolutely love that. It's not just, a sound and, the same couple words thrown together over and over again. It's an actual story that's being unveiled in front of you. And it's incredible. So, yeah, man. Jamie Johnson is another. He's a friend of mine, and it's another. I mean, his music is amazing. In Color is one of my favorite songs of all time. Absolutely love that song. I'll play that song almost at every show. And then, Lee Brice is, he's a friend, and we got a song that we're working on together, and his music is amazing. One of my favorite songs that he sings is called Boy, and it's an incredible song about him and his son. And I mean, there's so many great artists out there right now, man. It's so hard to really hone in on one. But then again, I mean, I'll rock out with my I'll rock out with some rock, whether it be like Five Finger Death Punch to Foo Fighters to, I mean, I'll even rock out some Dave Matthews every once in a while.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I still listen to the NSYNC Christmas album, bro. Like, I don't.
Nice.
Dude, music is music, man. I mean, it's cool. I mean, I love it. I'll even rock out with my girlfriend to like some Lizzo every once in a while. Like, dude, if you're feeling something when you're listening to it, that's all I care about, man. That's, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, man.
Absolutely.
As a musician and as an artist, you want people to feel, some type of emotion when they listen to your song.
Absolutely.
If you do that, then you've done well.
Yeah. You said Luke Combs, man, and that man's voice touches my soul.
Yeah.
In a way that I've never had any other musician be able to touch my soul.
Yeah. It's funny. So one of my mentor right now, his name is Doug Johnson. He wrote Three Wooden Crosses. He wrote Love Like Crazy for Lee Brice. He wrote If She's Lonely Now, She Won't Be Lonely Long. He's written a lot of amazing songs, songs that have transformed country music. And I want to write with him all the time. I literally write with him all the time. My song, The Stories That They Tell, was written with him. My new song that's unreleased, there's a couple of songs that are unreleased that I've written with him, but there's a guy by the name of Ray Fulcher who is also part of Black River, the label I'm talking to, who my mentor is the head A&R guy for. he's written a lot of Luke Combs songs, and I talked to his name. So I talk to Doug Johnson all the time. I'm like, man, let's get in a room with Ray. Like, let's get. I want to get in a room with Ray, man. Like, he writes those songs I'm talking about. Those songs that tell a story that you can literally feel and you can see that where like songs that just bring up memories, man. That just make you feel like you're back with like that person that you lost, that you love, and like stuff like that is just it's a completely invaluable in country. I mean, we have to keep that because that's where the traditional style of country comes from,
Oh,
and that
absolutely.
sense of like not only telling a story but making people relate to it to where it's like, yeah, like I lost my grandpa, or I lost, this person, or I had to leave at this, I had to leave my family and go do this. And, it's just things like that, like really, really people being able to connect. And Ray is an amazing songwriter who can write things that people connect to.
Yeah. Oh,
He's written a
absolutely.
lot of Luke Combs songs. And yeah, I mean, he's incredible, man.
Nice, nice. Yeah. I'm getting back into the phase of my life where I'm connecting to my roots with music,
Yeah.
and my roots are oldies and country,
Yeah.
and that is the ultimate all time great feeling. I listen, like I said, I listen to everything. I listen to metal, death metal, rock,
Mhm.
rap, you name it, but nothing touches me like country does.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's just something about it, man. There's just that story. I mean, you hear that story, and it's just like, man, this is like country. I feel like country music tells stories better than anyone else.
Oh yeah.
Um, it's funny. And a friend of mine once said that to be a good country artist, or to be a good songwriter, you got to be a good liar too, because you're either writing a song that is from your life, or a song that's from someone else's life that you're lying about. But yeah, I mean, there's just at the end of the day, as a songwriter, especially being more of a country or Americana songwriter, you want to write songs that people can connect with. And the easiest way for someone to connect with it is to tell a story about something that people understand. Um, and yeah, to find that is it's such an incredible feeling.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So if you had to do a lineup for a show that involved you,
Yeah.
who would you put on that show with you?
Uh, dang.
It's a hard
It's
one.
hard. There's so many great freaking artists out there. I'm playing in the show, right?
Yes, yes, you're
Okay.
in the show.
Okay. Okay. Um, I'm gonna have, because of where I'm at artistically, and people knowing who I am, and who the amount of people that know who I am. I would have Luke Combs headlining because he's going to bring in the numbers. Everyone knows who he is. And again, he tells amazing stories, and I love his music. Um, Lainey Wilson would be involved because I love her music. I love her sound. Um, yeah. And then it would be, oh man, this is so hard. Me for sure, in
Mhm.
there somewhere. Um, it's so hard. There's so many great artists out there, man. Um, we can bring Lee Bryce out there. Why not? That'd be fun.
Why not?
Yeah,
Surprise.
absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
had no exposure to Lainey Wilson until Yellowstone.
Yeah, her
My
songs are
God.
great. I mean, her voice is amazing. It's like almost like a younger ish Dolly Parton, which is amazing. We don't have that, and it's a breath of fresh air to have that back in the country music, which is really cool.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's where I get a lot of my newer inspiration to listen to country music is from Yellowstone because they have a
Yeah,
hell of a soundtrack, dude. Have you ever
yeah,
seen
man.
Yellowstone?
I have absolutely.
Ah, such an awesome show.
Yeah,
Yeah. But yeah, I'm diving back into my roots, and it's good to talk to somebody that's actually in the business that gets to see these things, and also, it doesn't hurt that you're a vet too.
hey. I'm just lucky, man. I don't know literally like everything that has. I mean, from the beginning to now, man. It's been a wild ride, man. And it's been just been all uphill. I mean, it's been from the moment that I first stepped on stage to um, where I'm at now. I mean, it's yeah, dude. It's been blessing after blessing, and random doors opening, and then me just saying, "Screw it, man, let's do it," and I just dive into that damn door and see what happens. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's in this industry, when an opportunity comes, you have to be ready to jump, and I have no problem jumping right in and doing something. It's but more so in this industry than I think anywhere else is you really have to throw yourself out there. And because of being in in the the public's view, you have to be real and raw with who you are. If you're fake, people will figure it out very, very quickly. Um, Especially industry people who have been around these people for a long time. They will very quickly understand if you're being fake or being real. So when every single part of me, every single part of my act, every single part of everything that I do is 100% who I am. It's never, even with the songs that I record, it's never anything that's not me. It's always like even so. Doug is the guy who kind of like walks me through everything about songs and stuff like that. And he has told me from the beginning, and I've told him from the beginning, that if we listen to a song and we're thinking about cutting it, or we write a song, I'm not going to cut it and make it mine unless I really feel like it's mine.
Yeah.
Like there's a song that we just did, that we just cut, that's called Good Old Dogs and God. And it's not my song. It was a song that was written by LV Shane and a couple other people. And it was written for another band that is not around anymore. And it's a song about how having a good dog by your side or having God by your side is really all you need. Um, and for me, I connect with it because of the fact that I've seen firsthand what a service dog or what a dog can do for someone who is a veteran or someone who's going through a hard time. Like I have buddies who, like, literally a dog saved their life.
Mhm.
Like they were on the brink, and then they got a service dog, or they just got a dog, a pet dog, and it gave them that reason to still be here. So as soon as I heard that song, I was like, dude, absolutely, I want to cut that song. Like, let's do it. If you're giving it up, I'll take it 100%. So yeah, that song, we could just cut that song. But yeah, every song that I record is 100% me. It
Hell yeah.
always will be. And I'll never do any songs that I don't feel I can't relate to. Because at the end of the day, if I can relate to it and I can feel it, then other people will be able to as well.
Absolutely. 100%. So before we go, man, where can we find you?
Oh man, I'm all over the damn place. So really, the easiest way to do it is to just follow at Scotty Hasting Music, whether it be on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, everywhere. And but yeah, it's that's really the easiest way to do it because I'm always somewhere, playing somewhere.
Yeah.
Honestly, I play a lot in Nashville, but there's no guarantee that on the weekend I'm going to be there. I might be out of town playing somewhere else. So it's a lot easier just to until I can get like the label on board and really get touring dates and stuff like that. And right now, it's just kind of like fly by the seat of your pants. Hey, I have this opportunity. You want to do it? Yes, and then kind of do it. But yeah, right now it's just I'm a little bit of everywhere.
Hell
But Nashville is probably still the best bet, especially right now because it's still slow season. So there's not a lot of traveling and playing right now. Um, so Nashville is probably still the best bet.
Hell yeah.
Down on Broadway is yeah, like I said, just follow me and you'll see I play a lot down on Broadway, so you'll be able to catch me there.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. When I make it back down to Nashville, I'm coming to see you, my friend.
100%, man.
Hell yeah.
It'll be
Hell
great.
yeah. All right, Scotty, thank you for hanging out with me for this hour, dude. I
Yeah,
had
thank
such a
you.
great time. thank you for sharing your story, man. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. Thanks for having me.
No
Appreciate it.
problem. And everybody else, thank you for hanging out and listening to Scotty's story, man. Uh, it's always a blessing when we have new people on the show, and especially vets. I really appreciate it. So, all right, y'all. Till next time. Much love.